This next song inaitwa Undugu. Basically singing to a sister or a brother. I think you'll just hear the lyrics. Tafadhali nisikia, mimi ni yule mwenzako. Mabishano ni ya nini? Umesahau sisi ni wamoja. Nisikia, tusikizane, tuwe kama vile zamani. Tuwa ndugu, mama moja, na baba pia ni mmoja. Mambo mazuri baina yangu na wewe, vita mizozo nani atatutatua? Hakuna haja ya madada kutengana, Mungu ametuweka ili tupendane. Mambo mazuri baina yangu na wewe, vita mizozo nani atatutatua? Hakuna haja ya madada kutengana, Mungu ametuweka ili tupendane. Nakupenda wewe nipende, na kukosa najua na wewe wanikosa. Natamani niweze kuwa na wewe siku zote, natamani niweze kuwa na wewe siku zote. Mimi tafadhali nisikia, mimi ni yule mwenzako. Mabishano ni ya nini? Umesahau sisi ni wamoja. Nisikia, tusikizane, tuwe kama vile zamani. Tuwa ndugu, mama moja, na baba pia ni mmoja. Mambo mazuri baina yangu na wewe, vita mizozo nani atatutatua? Hakuna haja ya madada kutengana, Mungu ametuweka ili tupendane. Mambo mazuri baina yangu na wewe, vita mizozo nani atatutatua? Hakuna haja ya mandugu kutengana, Mungu ametuweka ili tupendane. Nakupenda wewe nipende, na kukosa najua na wewe wanikosa. Natamani niweze kuwa na wewe siku zote, natamani niweze kuwa na wewe siku zote. Mimi wewe mimi wewe mimi wewe Okay, one thing people probably wouldn't know, I have been an indoor person for the longest time. So whatever you're saying, you've seen my works, they are definitely recent. So I've been someone who's been an indoor person a lot. I just started like going out recently, and I can say that with the people around me, I've always worked with people who are older than me. Really the people my age, I've just started working with people around my age group recently, but over the time, like someone working with someone like Nandi's way older, working with people like Jemedari, working with Jumatutu. I just feel like, for me it has been a great thing, because I've always learned ahead, because they've been there, so they always make sure I don't repeat the things they did. So I think I've worked with them and I didn't find the experience bad. No one has ever put me down because I look small or, okay, I am small. No one has ever made me feel like minor on it or like inferior. So I can say my experience with working with older people is okay. And also working with people my age is actually amazing, because in my head I'm like, where have you been all my life? I have just known you right now, but I can say, yeah, I've not encountered any challenge with working people. Let's say, just say Kitambo, when I was starting out, and the different my dad's music is different. It's not the same as muziki ya huku nje. So when my dad is playing Swahili jazz and I'm like, sasa akidadi. At first I was, okay, this is different. But now I love it. I really love it. I enjoy it more than muziki ya siku hizi. I can say that was the Kabit challenge. I was like, now my friends are going to see me singing jazz, and they wonder, now this girl is listening to jazz. How are you listening to jazz and you're just 13? I think that's the only thing, because muziki yao si same na the music we are making sai. Hey, there's a point in high school where you have like almost 1,000 names. I want to call myself this. Me, I had many names. And when I finished high school, I had settled on Kisia. So even when I was doing my crafts, I was like, Kisia crafts, Kisia snacks. I used to cook, by the way. Yes, I used to cook. And I used to do online deliveries during the Corona period. I stopped because during Corona everyone was at home, so I went back to school and did something. I went to major on school, but that was to just keep me engaged, because a lot was happening during the Corona period, and that's when people were being depressed, and so I decided to do something that at least makes me. Kwa hiyo mtaa people, uliacha kupika ama maragwe? Yeah, so I had settled on Kisia. Kisia is actually, I never want to say this, I have never wanted to tell people where Kisia came from, but my best friend in high school was called Msia. We're still friends till now. So she's a very amazing artist, very amazing. And she would draw, and I was like, tukimaliza high school, we need to build a gallery, because I paint. I know I'm not as good as you, but we will do a gallery, and the same place we will do music, like those ambitions you have. And we'll have a room.
What's this?
So like we were like, what will we call it? So she said, you're called Kidawa, yes. And I'm called Misia, yeah, Kisia. Yeah, that's where Kisia came. Kisia Abdi. And I remember one day I was at my aunt's place in Voi, and my aunt was like, auntie, yani unifollow Instagram, so unifollow Instagram. And she was like, waitwaje, mimi nimetafuta Kidawa sipati. Kaambia naitwa Kisia. Mbona jina ngumu hivyo? Mbona jina ngumu hivyo? Jina lako nzuri, tumia. And me, I never used to like Kidawa, because people used to make fun. And something else that people don't know, Kidawa is my actual name. My birth certificate name is Kidawa. Yes, so people used to make fun. They call me Kimedo, Kimedicine. It was horrible at that time. I even remember telling my dad I want to change my name. But growing older, I kind of felt like it was so authentic and so interesting. So I settled on Kidawa because I love my name. And Kidawa is easy to remember because I'm also small. And that's how my aunt's name came. Like Nyotandogo, people are like, you are just a star, but you're so small. So Nyotandogo. So I feel like Kidawa, I'm small. So people just always remembering Dawandogo. Though I don't like it, but I don't like it when people put it that way. But Kidawa is a name that was actually given to me by my grandfather. My grand aunt, do you say grand aunt? The sister to my grandfather is called Kidawa. And he thought that it was nice if he could see his sister in me. And they told me Kidawa. Kidawa means solution. It's actually a common name in TZ. Huku ndio watu wanashangaa. Because a lot of times I tell people, what's your name? Kidawa. Okay, now your actual name, like Kidawa. Okay. But yeah, that's my name. So I think I have settled with Kidawa. I wouldn't want to be categorized into Kidawa yule msichana anaimbaga nyimbo za Kiswahili, anaimbaga gengeton. But I have a lot of friends and people who've actually heard my music and the music that I enjoy listening to have said it's authentic, it has a coastal touch, and they're like, that really resonates well with you. So now I'm not so sure if I shall stick to that, but I think it will just grow. But I wouldn't want people to categorize me as my support system. Let me start. I have where there are many. Let me start with the closest. Let me start with Husna. Oh, I look at them. Hi, Husna. Husna has been like a sister. So she's always been, I'm here. You know, you see those friends who are always, me, I'm in. You want to try this? I'm in. Try. We try. So I have Husna. I have Kanani. I have Shiril. Those are friends that I've had for a long time. And there are so many. I have Uchiko, I have Tajio, I have Irene, I have Kabiru, I have Wangiha, I have Samike, I have Gitao, I have Tija, I have Nancy. The list is so long. The list is so long. I think maybe I'll write the list and I will put it up on Chini, like special thanks to. But I can say for my main support system in terms of like the musical beat, I think I'll go with Tajio, Samike, GB, Ochiko, my aunt. Yeah, and my dad. I've mentioned my dad a lot. Yeah, I think those are the people. And Nyawera, the amazing Nyawera. And of course, someone who believes in me. Don't want to mention the name, but there's someone who really believes in me and assures me that ako chini maji. So yeah, anajijua. If I wasn't a creative at all, I would be a psychologist. Is it a psychologist? Those people who talk to people. I will be a psychologist. I wanted to be a pediatrician at some point because of my brother. When I learned my brother is autistic and he was different, I was driven to be a pediatrician, but chemistry and biology zilikata, zili refuse. But I think psychology, I've actually been a peer counselor from class 4 to class 8 and from 1 to form 4. And it's people who decided that this is the person we want to. So I like listening to people, because I always, there's a time I've felt alone, and I know it sounds, to some people it usually sounds so obvious, like everyone in depression and stuff, but I have been through tough times, and I know how it feels not to be able to talk to someone or not to have someone. So when I get the chance to listen to people and be there, I just enjoy. I like that. So if I wasn't a creative, I think I would be doing psychology. But I can say there's a time when everything wasn't just making sense to me, and everything was just blurry, and I just went back. It was actually the time I decided, okay, let me just sing, let me just do music. It comes a time when your art is what actually gives you life. Like, you find peace in your art. So I can say, yeah, I have been to that point. And it's normal for anyone out there who feels like, what's wrong with me? I just want to say it's normal, because I've been around artists who I've seen them going through that phase, and it's normal, but there's always a way out. And when you get your bearing, it gets better than how it was. This is not something I've wanted my parents to hear me say, but yes, not once, not twice, not thrice, not 4 times. So yeah, I actually have. I will say people experience depression differently, and people respond to it differently. And when someone is in that phase, I know many people usually say, siangeongea na mtu, just reach out. But when someone is depressed, they don't want to be with people. They actually withdraw from people. I wouldn't want to talk about what led me to those phases. It was tough because I went through it alone. I have always gone through it alone. And I usually talk about it after I have gotten back from it, and that's when I tell people, hey manze, sikuwa fiti, this and this was happening. I tend to look at things, like I told you, I have been a peer counselor, and I have spoken to so many people, my peers, and actually older people, surprisingly, who, like, I have older people who actually call me and they're like, Nanzi, this is what I'm going through, and I'm like, okay, I want me to talk to you, no. But something like that really tells you, like, I think about it and I'm like, okay, I know I'm feeling this way at this point, but there's someone who actually needs me. What if the next time they call me and I'm not? So I keep telling myself, it gets better, it gets better. It might be hard. I have a notebook, so I keep writing, telling myself, it gets better, it gets better, it gets better, it gets better. There are people who need you, there are people who need you, there are people who need you. It's a phase, it's a phase, it's a phase, it's normal. And praying, I pray, I cry, but I've always found a way to, okay, I've had talks with my dad. I don't know if he knows that I have been through the moments, but my dad has talked about depression a lot, and he would say, in many instances would say, like, depression is normal, but it should never occur to you that one day to take your own life, because there are so many people who care about you, you will leave them with frustrations. No one is ever going to know what happens. So he's always there and saying, it's really normal. It's tough. It's normal. But you need to pray. You need to talk to people. You need to seek help. So for me, I don't seek help. I'm a person who, because if you talk to me and I make you feel better, the next time I come and tell you that I am feeling low, the next time you'll not talk to me because you'll be afraid. You'll be like, I don't want to burden you with this. So I choose to, and I can say for me, not everyone can do that. Not everyone can come out of that space by just talking to themselves. But I can say I'm thankful that I can talk to myself and tell myself it's going to be okay, it gets better. So for anyone who's going through depression, I would say it's very normal. It's okay to feel whatever you're feeling, and it's also okay not to be okay. And if you're in a position to talk to someone, talk to someone. But just don't give up. That's what I can say. Memorable, it has to be Safaricom Jazz. I performed at Statehouse. When was it? I remember it was on 12th December. You know, when Statehouse finished, they usually have like a small party. It continues. It continues. Yeah, it continues. So I've performed at Statehouse twice, and there's this guy who curates like the entertainment bit, and he was so impressed. I was so little. I remember I was so little. It was on 12th December. It was also my brother's birthday. So I remember I performed, and he was like, I can hear a small voice singing. And he turned and he was so impressed. I think for me that was a lot, because it wasn't okay. The president was not there, unfortunately. Hakuwa amefika, but yeah. And then I can say Safaricom Jazz Festival.
Small, does it not age? Cindy, or like
age, and
you were young. It's a while ago.
Yeah, it's a while ago. I think it has to be 2013, 2012, if I'm not wrong. And then Safaricom Jazz. There are many instances, but most of them has been with my dad. When I'm performing with my dad, I can say, just excited, because my dad and I dance on stage a lot. So I think just dancing and the band being tight and like having the audience dance and sing along, for me that's just amazing. And the other memorable one is so recent, during the Roysambu Cultural Fest. I would say that was my first performance as Kidawa in front of more than, I guess, 10 people. More than 10 people. I think the one I performed as Kidawa before didn't have a crowd. But for that, I was scared. It was cold. It was drizzling. And I think I was the first singer on stage, because the one who was performing previously was a poet. And I actually made people stand with the first song. And I wanted to cry. And then the best part, I was singing, and then in the middle of the song, sijui stima zilienda wapi. Stima zilipotea, and then I was like, I don't even know how to react, because no matter how hard you sing, they're not going to hear you, because it's an open ground. And the crowd was singing the song they have never heard before. And I think I've just sung the chorus once, and everyone in the background was like singing, me, and I was like, hey, that for me that meant a lot. So yes, yeah, I have a memorable one. Now I have a new one. I'm gonna dismiss the other ones.
Another one?
Another one. No, let's see. That one was in primary school. My first time singing. It was on a prize giving day. And there was like class 1 to class 8, and the alumni with their parents. And family, for me that was huge. Because I was small and I was singing. And parents were looking at me like, huyu anasomaga. Ama anaimba tu, you know. And then the head teacher was like, this is Kidawa, he's actually one of the brightest students. I was like, okay, yeah, thanks. At least the parents know that I read. And then my dad, my dad, being the artist that he is, showed up in school with with dreadlocks, mohawk. He's just shaved the other side, and he's dyed brown, and he just walks in the middle of the field, and everybody's like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Father." Sometimes ameshuka till to date he hasn't changed. So I think my teachers walikuwa wanashanga, huyu mtoto, which household is she living in? But they got used to it with time. Yeah, I wouldn't say I've encountered challenges. In fact, I have actually been received well. And in terms of cinematography, like finding a female cinematographer, so like I've gotten nothing but encouragements. So I wouldn't say I have experienced that bit of resistance of the sort. Cinematography is I guess basically video, making films, shooting videos, and a person like me, for me I think it's easy to work with me. Anyone disagreeing? No? Okay. I think it's easy to work with me because I'm a person who's always open to learning and experiencing new people. So I think I'm a person who is a very easy person. I'm a very easy person to talk to and to work with. So I'm very open to anyone who's out there and wants to do a project. Yes, and I'm also anyone out there who is looking for a cinematographer. I'm here. So yeah, we actually did a film last year. I shot a feature film last year as a school project. It was called Dustlo. It premiered in the school's theater. It hasn't been released out to everyone yet, but if you want to watch it, just look for me. We have one called The Motive that's supposed to premiere on 17th June, which is next week, Friday. So yeah, you'll just see it. I have done documentaries. I've shot documentaries. I've done voiceover. I can just say I am a filmmaker. Let me say I am a filmmaker. A filmmaker who specializes in cinematography, but I'm open to editing, to script writing, to voiceover, to directing, to being a gaffer, everything, but cinematography mostly. No, I've never gone to a music school. Never ever. Okay, does doing music as a subject count as a music school? Okay, I did music in high school. I did music in high school and in primary. So I can say sight reading and playing the recorder. I'm having guitar lessons. Yeah, so, and keys. I can play the keys actually. I just haven't practiced a lot, but I can actually play the keys and I can sight read with the keys. But the recorder and the keys are what I can sight read with vizuri. I haven't tried sight reading with other instruments. If you ever did music at some point, there's like a ta, ta, ta. There was always that thing in every music school that we were taught. The G clefs and the crotchets and then those, yeah, I guess that's sight reading. I'm not the best at explaining, but I know you understand what I mean. So when COVID hit, I was here. I was in Nairobi with my family, of course. Oh, my dad's family. I was with our family. And I had just started my film course. And I was so excited about it, you know. I did not even wait for the calling, whatever. So I joined film school immediately, and I was excited. I had just started learning, and then we just get a text, and tunaambiwa, you can no longer come to school because there's a pandemic. And I have been to high school, just a girls' school, and like I said, I've been an indoor person. So like this was the only time that I got to interact with people in a different setting, and at least started sharing ideas. You know, we had projects in mind, and you now tell me I can no longer go to school. So this means I have to stay at home, and I haven't stayed at home for a long time. Okay, even the thought, you know, no one was prepared psychologically to stay at home, you know. Okay, staying at home, ile ya kuenda kutoka kurudi jioni, that is okay, but now full time. And I remember I stayed indoors for almost 2 months, bila kutoka, even going to the shop, because my dad and my mom were like, so you amwezi toka, especially you have asthma. So you know, I had asthma, and they were like, people with chronic diseases are at higher risk of. So masks zilikuanga mbili kwa nyumba, zile zilikuanga zinaoshwa, zile za kwanza ya mom na ya dad. So yeah, and being an indoor person, I guess my family were not used to me being a person who liked their space. In high school, people knew. I'm somebody who enjoyed my space. I would stay alone a lot. So, but at home, people don't know. Why is this girl not sitting with us? You know, why is this girl always in her room? What is she doing in her room? You know, like, people are confused. So it wasn't easy, because I will stay in the sitting room and I'm like, let me go to my room, let me do crafts, let me do this. So I go to my room, I lock for myself in the room for a long time. And now my parents are not happy. Why are you not interacting with us? So it was also an issue. And I couldn't find myself to like, nilikuwa nimetuzoea. And it wasn't a good thing. It was kind of difficult. And now I can't go to school. So like the first month is over, the second month, because I remember we resumed school physically again September. Imagine. Yes, from March, all those months I was just at home. We tried learning online, but it wasn't the same. And that's when I got into my crafts, my crafty. I started doing wall hangings, I started doing greeting cards, I had a bunch of crafts just there, because I will make them every time. I couldn't even sing anymore. I remember I couldn't sing. I used to sing randomly, but there's a day I was seated and I was asking myself, have I even sung in the bathroom? Like, siimbi kwa bafu, siimbi nikiosha vyombo. And I was like, I'm not dancing. And when everyone's on TikTok, I wasn't. Because you know, that was the time people were like, okay, TikTok nini. I wasn't on TikTok. And then my phone got spoiled during that period. So like most of the month I was phoneless. I just detached myself from everything. So my friends don't know where this girl is for that long period. It wasn't, and some of the depression phases came there, because there's so many things I have been holding on to from a long time, that I don't talk about, and I don't think I'm gonna talk about them. But when you are idle and you are just at home, they have a way of unlocking, and everything just falls on you, and you're like, wow. Now you start thinking about so many things, and they are piled up, and now because you have nothing to distract you, and you are alone in your room, because you feel like everyone in the house is depressed because dad is wondering now, what am I gonna do next? I have a family, I can't go to work, I can't do this. And you know, it was, functions were cancelled, performances were cancelled, you know. And now we can't go to school to see water. And now I have an autistic brother who was so used to going to school, and now he can't go to school. So that alters with his mind. So in this house, there are so many people who don't understand what is happening, na kila mtu akona zake. So everyone just snaps. Anything small, they just snap. So it was so difficult, and I'm aware it was difficult for almost everyone. But yeah, I found something positive to do, and that's when I started doing my crafts. That was it. Also, I think it's the same year. Oh no, it's not the same year. The 2020 year. The corona went up to 2021 because corona was still there. So in 2021, I moved out. I moved out after corona. I moved out. I started living alone. School resumed, so I picked up another responsibility because now I'm no longer under my parents. There's no one to keep asking me, "Umekula, are you okay?" Now it's just me. So I can say the crafts was my inaitangwa nirvana. A nirvana was my happy place. I got out with so many lessons, like change is inevitable. Change can happen, and how you approach that change really matters. Because I am aware that there are people who stopped doing their craft completely because they lost hope. There are people who committed suicide. I have friends who committed suicide during that period. I have people who got the corona and it freaked them out. You know how corona, everyone was talking about COVID, so when you hear you have COVID, you panic. I have friends who actually got better at their skills during corona and did amazing things. So I can say a lesson I picked from that is that change can happen anytime. You just have to be prepared, and when something like that happens, there's nothing much you can do about it, but you have to make use of what you can do with yourself. And that I can stay in the house for a long time. And actually be disciplined. I wore masks. I never thought I would wear masks, but I actually did, without even anyone telling me to. And I also got better at skills. I discovered I can actually do my crafts as a business. I didn't know that. I just thought I would just do them for fun and hang them on my walls. But I realized there are people who love my art and who are willing to buy my art. So yeah. I can start with identity. Identity makes an artist because you have to identify yourself. Know what you want to do. If you're an artist, art is wide. And when you identify yourself as an artist who does this, and this is what you are, these are your principles, this is what you live by, this is what guides you. This is how punctual I am, this is how disciplined I am, this is how I talk to people. Identifying yourself for me means like how you see yourself and how you want others to see you. For me, that's identity. And knowing that as an artist is important. And then love. I don't know how to explain that. Okay, I'm going to put love in a category of team. Oh my God, I don't know. I'll say love is, for me, it's teamwork. When you have a team and, okay, you cannot be with bad blood with people so if you have a team and you guys are together, people who are willing to move with you, people you are willing to learn from, people who are willing to correct you, and if you are willing to take the corrections and the critiques, for me, I think that's love. Yeah, for me, being open to learning and having people to actually teach you is a very important bit of being an artist. For me, I feel like life is everything to do with you. I mean, whatever you're doing right now, like now we are living, and how we choose to live, I think it's what is life. How you choose to exist is what is life. I don't know. Those questions, I don't know. I feel like they should have a deeper answer, and I'm just giving like plain and, oh my God. I swear, if you would have asked me what an artist needs, I would have just said discipline and hard work and everything. But now when you say, like, when you give me choices to break them down, I'm like, okay, I'm still children. There's sometimes I have been unsure of my art, but I will say I've had people who constantly affirm me that I am good, I am enough, and for me that's a blessing, and I appreciate that. So yeah, I will say that I've had people who constantly affirmed me. I'd say a big thank you to everyone who's been supportive, to my fan and my support system. I couldn't be here without you, so you guys are amazing. And to every person who is always there to correct me when I'm wrong, to every person who like sees an opportunity and sends it my way, I am so appreciative of you. And for good music out there and amazing artists who inspire me every day, you guys are also amazing. You just don't know it, but you are amazing. And it's possible for everyone. So I just basically feel whatever has been mentioned in this interview has touched across a lot of things, but especially the mental health part. I'm a person who is usually very concerned about people's mental health, so seek help, talk, and don't give up. This one is called Yours by Ochiko. I like that song. Hey! Yours, baby, I'm yours, finally yours. It's there.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, go.
Yours, baby, I'm yours, finally yours. Mapenzi zidi, zaidi na zaidi. Yours, baby, I'm yours, finally yours. Mapenzi zidi, zaidi na zaidi. Yo 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 yo, zaidi na zaidi. Yo 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 yo, zaidi na zaidi. Yo 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 yo, zaidi na zaidi. Yo 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 yo, zaidi na zaidi. Yours, baby, I'm yours, finally yours. Mapenzi zidi, zaidi na zaidi. Yours, baby, I'm yours, finally yours. zaidi na zaidi, zaidi na zaidi, zaidi na zaidi. Oshiku is actually here playing the guitar. He's just being humble.
Tea for you. This one, but two emoji.
We can cut.